If you don't want a career that pays good money, then don't watch this video. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Mateo, aka Matty Ice, the host of the Sales Dev Squad podcast. And in this video, we're going to be talking about how much you can actually make as a sales rep. That's right, the topic that you all have been waiting for. Make sure to smash that subscribe button to never miss a video, and let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so we're gonna start off here with the SDR role. So the average entry-level salary for an entry-level sales rep or an SDR in the United States is roughly $42,000, and the average base pay is around $48,000. So it really does vary. When I got my first SDR job, I was a $40K base salary with 10 to 15K on-track earnings, which is commission. Obviously, there's tons of companies out there, and some have more access to funding and cash compared to others. Others are sort of startups, smaller companies. Others are more established. So it really does vary. But I want to say, on average, the entry-level base salary for an SDR role can range anywhere from 40K to 60K, depending on, again, the organization, the industry, the funding that the company has access to. And that's usually to start off, right? And I know that there's a lot of companies out there that really push like, you can make 100K in your first year as an SDR. And I really want to say that don't get into this career thinking that you're going to make six figures right off the bat. Now, do you have the possibility of making six figures down the line? Absolutely. But to start off, you're not going to be making six figures, right? You're going to probably be making closer to 80, 75K with your commissions, right? And that's another thing that gets mixed into it as well, right? You have your base salary and you have your commission. So it really can vary. I want to say the average OTE commission for an SDR role can be anywhere between 10 to 15K on average, and that's not including your base salary. So again, SDR, you're probably looking at anywhere between 65 to 80K total compensation, which again, this is starting, right? This is you going into a sales organization brand new. I would say that's a pretty good salary given the fact that, you don't really need a college degree. You just need to have the ability to have good quality communication skills, sales skills, and whatnot. So pretty much after the SDR role, you have a couple of different stepping stones. We're going to use an account executive as an example. So pretty much an account executive is someone who actually runs those demos that SDRs book. So you're responsible for closing that business. So odds are you're going to have maybe a little bit more of a higher base salary than an SDR. So maybe about like 10 to 15K difference, greater than maybe a starting SDR. And on top of that, there's usually a compensation structure around like closed deals and actual revenue that you bring in for the organization, right? And basically your responsibilities shift later in the sales pipeline. So SDR, top of funnel is what they say, right? Booking meetings, creating conversations. AEs, right? They're closing deals. So they're talking to people that are later in the sales pipeline, as they say. So a little bit more responsibility in that role, definitely a lot more, opportunity to make closer to six figures. Absolutely. And again, this really does vary on the organization that you work for, right? And the next sort of tier up is like a sales manager, right? So a sales manager is responsible for managing a group of AEs or SDRs. This position tends to be like a leadership position, right? You are less of an individual contributor and more of a manager. You manage people. Your job is to make sure your people hit your goals. So if you really look at things in the grand picture, right? You really have less control as a manager than you do as an individual contributor. So different job duties. I would say that is definitely a little bit more high pressure, high stress role just because you're not really selling. But at the end of the day, sales manager is usually where a lot of people are aiming for in their career to get into management, get into leadership. I know that sales managers in tech can make anywhere from like 80 to 120K base salary, and that's not including variable commission that they can make if their team hits their goals as well. So when you move into those AE sales manager roles, that's when you really start to get close to that 6-figure mark, right? And again, it really just should come down to like what you're good at, what you're passionate about, because at the bottom line is the higher you move up, the more responsibility you have. And yes, you're getting paid more, but you have more responsibilities, you have more obligations, which stress comes with it at times as well. So just keep that in mind. And kind of moving up in that ladder, we have a sales director. So a little bit different than a sales manager, but a sales director is basically responsible for running the entire sales organization. So SDRs, AEs, tools, training, coaching. Best believe that is an extremely challenging job, a really fun job, because you're basically leading the team. You're the head coach of a sales team. So that role on average, I've seen like 120 to 160K depending on the organization, right? But really cool role, right? Especially if you want to like lead reps and lead teams, like that's obviously like a really good trajectory that a lot of people aim for. And again, the higher you move up, the closer you get to 6 figures and over 6 figures, which is awesome. But again, you realize the higher up you go, the less control you have, but the more opportunity that you have to make, 6 figures, which is awesome. And so kind of moving up in there, we have like our CRO or, Chief Revenue Officer or Sales VP, right? This is sort of like the director of sales' boss. They work closely with the CEO, with the investors, with basically all the really important people, right? And so they're basically in charge of the entire revenue organization as a whole. So managers, directors. So again, as we kind of move up in this pyramid, right, where ultimately CEO is at the top, CRO is basically like the right hand or the left hand woman or man, and so to speak, in terms of just closing deals, making sure that the company is generating revenue, generating profit, and sort of managing down from there, right? And so, there's obviously other opportunities that, you can sort of transition to after an SDR role or a BDR role, right? I've seen reps go into like marketing. I've seen reps go into business development or partnerships, or basically any role where that customer knowledge, that customer service experience can be applicable. So like customer success, customer support, and whatnot. But there's obviously a ton of perks for being an SDR, right? You learn how to find and engage with prospects. You learn how to create opportunities out of thin air that no one else can truly do that, in my opinion. And obviously qualifying leads, being persistent, being consistent, being able to put the company ahead of any competitors. And it's just a great opportunity to accelerate your growth, your professional development, and take it to that next level. Pay is just obviously like a base pay. We mentioned there's obviously like commissions and bonuses included with that as well. And it's just a great opportunity to walk in, and if you're hungry and you are willing to do the work, then you will yield that return. The beauty about sales, it's not about the degrees that you have, it's the work that you're willing to put in. And at the end of the day, if you have a really good mindset, you like helping people, you are really good with working with other humans and your colleagues, right? Being able to move up in the ranks there, right? Whether that be AE, sales manager, CRO, director of sales, CEO, whatever the case may be, right? It all comes down to what you can do and what you can provide at the base level role, which is the SDR role, which again, I'm a huge fan. I'm wearing a 100% SDR shirt here, thanks to Emmanuel Carpenter. Feel free to check out his SDR masterclass. But again, really passionate about sales development, because really those are the building blocks and what leads to ultimately those larger, high-paying roles. Remember, guys, great sales skills make all of this happen. I actually went over a few tips in this video that we'll have a link to you guys right here, sort of talking about like on-the-job training and how you can pretty much just pick up some of these skills right on the job and get you started on the road to promotion relatively quickly. So how much can you make in sales? I would say enough to make this an attractive career for any new grad, anyone considering, just something new where they have more control with what they make and what they do. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have enjoyed any of our videos, please smash that subscribe button so we can continue to push out amazing content for you guys. Thank you so much for your time. Any feedback, any comments, any questions, please leave them down below, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.